It all looks the same.
The New York upstate town of Hudson has a rich architectural and urban design history, showcased by its main thoroughfare, Warren Street. The architecture of Warren Street cannot be described in one sentence or phrase. Warren Street evolved over the course of more than a century, starting at the river and moving east. In the 1990s, a new wave of settlers reclaimed the reclaimed land of Hudson and established a guild of preservation-minded overseers. In 2003, this society enacted a preservation ordinance, the Historic Preservation Commission, a regulatory board of the city of Hudson, a part of the government. From that point on, all changes to historic buildings in Hudson's locally designated historic districts must be reviewed and granted a Certificate of Appropriateness by the HPC. The standards are tough. This results in a uniform street style that some take seriously enough to go as far as using the original materials and tools by builders and architects from a century ago to achieve the most historically accurate look possible. There is an undeniable uniformity to the look of Warren Street, creating an almost Disney fairy tale-like uniform charm.
It all looks the same.
All except for this one. The facade of this building is an eyesore. It's in a deplorable state. I'm sure this building's condition must be restored. I'm going to do what any responsible resident of Hudson should do when they personally don't like the condition of the facade of a specific building on Warren Street. I'm going to write a letter. Dear Hudson Historic Preservation Commission, I am writing to you concerning the condition of the facade of a building located on Warren Street. This doesn't feel right. Dear Hudson Historic Preservation Commission, I am writing to you concerning the condition... Still doesn't feel right. Wait a minute. Historically accurate. Historically accurate. Historically accurate. Historic Preservation Commission. Historic Preservation Commission. Certificate of Appropriateness. Dear Hudson Historic Preservation Commission, I am writing to you concerning the condition of the facade of a building on Warren Street. The address is 617 Warren, the Pebble Wall of CVS Market and Pharmaceutical. How old is this wall? How old are these pebbles? How old am I? The pebbles are in a deplorable state and need refurbishing as historically accurate as possible. I believe this wall can be saved and restored back to the era from which it was created. Rough cast, or pebble dash, is a coarse plaster surface used on outside walls that consists of lime and sometimes cement mixed with sand, small gravel, and often pebbles or shells. The materials are mixed into a slurry and are thrown at the working surface with a trowel. The idea is to maintain an even spread, free from lumps, ridges, or runs, and without missing any background.
Rough casting incorporates the stones in the mix, where pebble dashing adds them on top. I could say safely that the CVS wall is definitely pebble dash. The practice came out of merry old England in the 1930s. It gained prominence in America during the explosion of the brutalist architecture trend in the 1970s. 617 Warren Street was originally called the Golderman Building and passed many hands in this last century. In 1939, the deed was transferred to the F.W. Woolworth Company, and an expansion of the Woolworth store extended into the Goldman Building. The concrete facade, including the surface, was done by A. Colarusso and Son. A. Colarusso and Son did the concrete work both interior and exterior. However, one can see in this photo of Hudson in 1958 from the Hudson Area Library that the pebble dash wall doesn't appear to be in place in the left of the photo. Further research determined that there was a fire at the building in 1971 when cosmetic changes had to occur. The pebble wall appears to have been built then. Could it be that the gravel trucks that cause so much trouble on our Hudson streets are the same company that provided the gravel for the much beloved pebble wall at CVS Warren Street? Despite any controversy, I insist that this wall be rebuilt back to its 1970s glory, using Colarusso and Sons gravel, perhaps just taken from the trucks as they're passing by. I'm sure we could find historically appropriate materials from 1971 to rebuild the wall with. I love living in Hudson. And I love the local market and pharmaceutical CVS. Where else could I get my Depends diapers, Mars bars, and fill my Klonopin prescription? I write to you post-haste to restore this glorious 1970s Pebble Dash wall to its former glory using the Colarusso gravel. The Pebble Dash wall at CVS could even be deemed an official historical site. Perhaps a plaque could allow tourists to revel in the history of this Pebble Dash wall. Yours forever, a concerned citizen of Hudson, New York, particularly concerned about the appropriate appearance of our High Street Warren.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once
Hudson.
And some people don't. People start.
Historically inappropriate architecture.
People can stop it.